Hello everyone, very good evening. Today we are going to see queues, subroutines, additional instructions and encoding of machine instructions. So this is under module number 1, that is a basic structure of computers and machine instructions and programming. Queue we know that this is based on the FIFO concept, first in first out basis, and subroutines having, if we need to call, if it required, then we can go for subroutines. We can call subroutines many times, and then additional instruction, it is having a logical one, and then shift instruction, and we can say rotate instruction. So these three instructions are the additional instruction, we can say, and encoding of machine instructions. So we'll discuss all the topic one by one. And queue, if the processor has auto increment and auto decrement addressing mode, the push operation can be performed by the single instruction. So like move new item, this is the queue example, and pop operation can be performed by incrementing the item to move, that is to the stack pointer. And then data are stored in and retired from a queue on a FIFO basis. A very good example what we can say is standing in a queue, standing in a theater, and difference between stack and queue is one end of the stack is fixed while the other end rises and falls as data are pushed and popped. A single pointer is needed to point to the top of the stack at any given time. On the other hand, both ends of a queue move to the higher addresses as data are added at the back and removed from the front. So two pointers are needed to keep track of the two ends of the queue. Without further control, a queue would continuously move through the memory of a computer if the direction of is having a higher address. So one way to limit the queue to a fixed region in memory is to use a circular buffer. And now subroutine. So when we're talking about this subroutine, if we don't want to call many times, then no need to call this function. In a given program, it is often necessary to perform a particular subtask many times on a different data values. Such a subtask is usually called subroutine. For example, to evaluate the sign function or sort of list of values into increasing or decreasing order. If you want to increase the functions, and if you want to call many times, then we can go for the calling subroutine program. If you want to return the value, then we can call the subroutine many times, and it is possible to include the block of instruction and that constitute a subroutine at every place where it is needed in the program. For example, if you want to call a program 1, and we have 10 programs iteratively in the coding part, then if you want to call one program, then if you need to return the value to the other linkage, then we can go for the processor block. Again we can call the same function again and again. So we have the subroutine nesting option also. So the way in which a computer makes it possible to call and return from subroutines is referred to as its subroutine linkage method. The simplest subroutine linkage method is to save the return address in a specific location so that we can get the information very easily, and we can manipulate and we can retrieve, and which may be register dedicated to this linkage function. Such a register is called the link register. When the subroutine completes its task, the return instruction returns to the calling program by branching indirectly through the link register. Now we'll see how it performs the following operations. For example, arithmetic operation. So it needs an address and it needs an operands. So the call instruction is just a special branch instruction, and it performs the following operations, and it stores the content of PC in the link register, and it branches to the target address specified by the instruction. So the return instruction is a special branch instruction, and it performs the operation it contained in the link register. As we discussed in the previous slide, that it is having a nesting concept and processor stack. A common programming language called subroutine nesting, it is having a one subroutine called, and which is having another inside that. So in this case, the return address of the second call is also stored in the link register, and it destroying its previous content, and it defines a new value in the next coming calling subroutine program. So hence it is essential to save the content of the link register in some other location and before calling another subroutine. So otherwise what will happen, the return address of the first subroutine will be lost. So we can call again and again, and inside the subroutine calls is called the subroutine nesting, and this can be carried out to any depth. Eventually the last subroutine call completes its computation and returns to the subroutine that call to it. The return address needed for the first written is the last one generated in the nested call memory location subroutine. For example, 1000 first instruction, it just points to the this one as SP, and it returns 8204 return sequence. So this is used under the concept of lost in first out basis. So it returns the address associated with the subroutine calls, and it should be pushed into the stack. So this particular register is designated as a stack pointer, and it just points to the stack that is called the processor stack. The call instruction pushes the content of PC into the processor stack and loads the subroutine into the PC. So how the parameter is going to pass over here? A program must provide the parameters whenever the operands is using it. It should be in the into the process of computation. Later what will happen, it returns other parameters, and the result of the thing will be calling. So the exchange of information between a calling program and subroutine referred to as a parameter pausing. So parameter pausing may be accomplished in many ways, like it just placed in the registers or in the memory location where they can be accessed by the subroutine. So alternatively, the parameters may be placed on the process stack and used for saving to return the address. If you want to return the value or any address there, then we can place it on the processor stack. And the purpose of this subroutine is to add a list of numbers instead of pausing the actual list of entries, and the calling program passes the address of the first number in the list. So this technique is called passing by reference, and the second parameter is pass by value, that is the actual number of entries, and they pass to the subroutine. So this is the stack frame. Now observe how space is used in the stack, and during the execution of subroutine we have 6 locations at the top of the stack, and it contains entries that are needed by the subroutine. So in this stack frame, now we can enter the values, and we can free up the values when the subroutine returns control to the calling program. So here this is a stack frame example. Like if you want to enter the things, it will be in the position which is in workspace, and then it created the time when it is going to enter and when it is going to free up, and that is it just depends upon the when you are going to call the calling program. So thank you.